Hi everybody, welcome.
Hi everyone.
You want to take a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to say hi to some people?
Oh my gosh, my kids are here. Oh my goodness. Oh. 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 Wait.
We here, girl.
Wait. Holy shit.
We here, girl.
Oh my god.
We are here.
I think I pulled the surprise off.
Done. Oh my gosh. Marianne. Oh. What? Holy cow, you guys had to do plane tickets and things.
Ooh, I can't stand in these shoes. I'm like literally falling into this.
Even Mikey's here.
Mikey down, boy.
Oh my. This is insane.
So baby,
What's supposed to face?
you do whatever you want. This is all about you. So clearly, what?
We have to switch spots.
You want to switch spots?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna switch so we're switching it up. We're doing this.
Well, all the cameras are right here.
Okay. All right. Y'all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, take a deep breath. I feel like I should be the one that's nervous right now.
Right.
Okay. So we're here because I love you. Forever. I feel like you are 100% a miracle in our life, and that God brought you and designed you and built you exactly for us, for all of us. I'm gonna love you forever. I promise. And I just want to know if you'll marry me.
1,000. Holy shit! Yes! Oh my goodness! All that fake ring shopping. Oh my gosh! Yes, yes, yes. Oh my cow.
I think I can breathe for the first time today.
Breathe, girl.
Like,
Breathe.
Oh.
And can we hug you now?
Yes, please. Oh, you guys look so great. Hi, I'm Lloydine,
and I'm Heidi.
and we are
The U-Haulers.
Big news.
Big news.
We're engaged.
It's crazy.
Turn. There we go. It happened. I mentioned it on this podcast, but I thought we were like years away. Woo! That beauty. Blind you. So, you just watched the amazing,
Or listen to.
listened. If you're on Podbean or
Apple
Podcasts, you got to watch it. And all the rest of the fabulous places you got to listen. But we have posted the professional video at our website at www.u-haulers.com, where you can also listen to your podcast there and get all the videos and all the behind the scenes. So go there, watch it. It was pretty magical. And we will tell you all the behind the scenes craziness right now.
Yeah, first we want to say it's been a little while, so we're glad to be back.
I know. We had the holidays, and we decided that we would take 3 kids to New York.
Our 3 kids, but yeah.
We didn't just pick random 3 kids. So we took 3 kids to New York, the twins' birthday, and we did the magical Christmas in New York. I was really excited to share that with them because that's home to me, and it is no joke taking 3 kids to New York, y'all.
Yeah, seriously.
But it was amazing, and we did everything. So we'll tell you about that sometime, but
Busy,
it was magical
trip. Yep, absolutely.
Insane. We had 3 trips, though. Back to back during Christmas, really.
Which is why we've been gone for a little while. So we're glad to be back.
Yeah.
You might hear our son playing. He's got a play date going on in his room right now. So the
girls are off
squealing
on a
and
play date,
squeaking.
and they're screaming boys.
Yes. So
behind us.
if you hear that, that's what's happening. Not some kind of strange torture. See. Anyway, so yeah, today's all about how I surprised this one.
Yeah.
She was not expecting it at all. So I actually started a long time ago. We started way back in July.
Yeah, way before I talked to you all about it
Yeah.
on here.
So we had kind of discussed, actually a lot longer before that we had discussed, as you know, I've been previously married, and so we discussed whether or not we were really going to do that.
Yeah, because
And-
we had already moved in together, which isn't something I'd ever done before, and we were already co-parenting.
Raising kids and sharing money and doing
so it
the
was
whole
like,
thing.
do we need to get married? But it was really,
It was important to me.
yeah.
And I knew it would be important for the kids. It was something that I could tell from their perspective, right? That it was just a level of security that they didn't feel yet, which makes sense, right? Because in their mind, that's it. That's permanent. So so it was important to us. And during that discussion, it came out that I really wanted to be the one to propose first, right? That I wanted.
Yeah.
That. And so I kind of knew that it was going to come down to me. And I'm the kind of person who I can plan, but I don't generally do it, right? I usually am the person that just carries the plan out. So Dean's a big planner, and she'll be like,
surprise
we're
her.
going to do this, and then we all make it happen, right? Or she'll just surprise me, and there it is happening. And so this was a big deal for me because, one, it was a pretty big financial purchase that I was making with our finances without discussing with her, and two, because I was planning the whole thing. So started way back in July. I found the center stone and was like, okay, that's it. I knew it was it. I knew that's what I wanted. We'd been kind of daydream ring shopping a little bit before that, not extensively, but a little bit, enough to know that she knew exactly what she wanted.
Yeah, I never faltered from... I didn't know what I wanted, and we decided to start talking about it, looking at it. And from the first moment, I was like, that's it. And I tried on many things after that, and I always came back to the exact same...
Yeah. So the design that she...
I always wanted the 3-stone emerald.
Yeah, 3 stones emerald, yeah.
With the...
White gold or platinum and the hidden halo.
And the channel.
And the channel set diamonds, yeah. So she had a really clear picture in her mind of what she wanted. So when I found that center stone, I was like, okay, here we go. But I know myself well enough to know that I have to have a deadline. That's how I work.
Right.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to set a date. This is the date of the engagement. And also I needed an excuse for, to be able to surprise her. So I said, okay, babe, listen, we're going to be in New York for our 2-year anniversary. I don't really want to celebrate it all jumbled up with the birthday and the trip and all this stuff going on in Christmas. So let's do it a month early. And for the anniversary, I'm going to plan it. That's my gift to you for the anniversary. And that was it. That was going to be in November.
And constantly after that, I kept getting jobs right on that day.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, should I take this job with Porsche? And she's like, no, I have reservations. And I was like, oh, right.
So then I just started working towards that date. And I actually really kept it a secret. She never knew. There was a bunch of...
There was ups and downs of me wondering if something was happening, because I really thought it was just, what she said it was. But I don't like ruining surprises, so I will do all I can to not ruin it. But there were moments that popped up where I would be like, oh boy. And so, because I was just honestly going to just grab a dress out of the closet, throw it in the suitcase, no big deal. If I'd worn it on Instagram before, who cares? If I didn't, I just was like, it's just gonna be me and her. I just, no thought. And then there came a moment when I was using her phone because mine had died, and so I was doing a video for Halloween. And so this was, on Halloween this happened, or the day before, I think we were setting up, or a couple days before, and I was videoing, and I kept getting a text message. She kept getting a text message, and I kept swiping it away and keep videoing stuff. But by the third time, I kind of got frustrated because it kept going. I was trying to do something, so I looked up to swipe it away and I swiped it so fast that I was like, was I seeing things? Am I hallucinating? But it definitely said something. It said, "Let's do it," with all these exclamation points. Let's do it, and it was by someone that shouldn't be in her phone, but in mine. And so I was like, "Wait, is this my phone?" I was like, "This isn't my phone." So that's when I was like, "Wait a minute," and so then it was like, "Did I really see that? Did I not?" Then it was also, was it just far away because I knew she did want to propose and I did want people involved and I did want it a secret. So then was it just planning for a long time, or was it going to be this more upcoming date in a month?
And I was really, at first I was like, I saw her swipe up and I was like, oh no, I really hope that wasn't one of the people I've been communicating with.
And then she saw that it was.
I saw that it was. But honestly, I think it was
a blessing in
Yes,
disguise because
absolutely.
of that text, I decided, okay, it's probably not happening because I know the bougie size ring that I want and what I want, and we're still like beginning ring shopping and saving up money, so it probably isn't coming up, but just in case, I should probably get the dress because I don't want to just not prepare for it and then regret it. So I ended up bringing it up to her, like, should I get a dress for this weekend that you're planning? And she said yes.
Yep.
And then she told me,
Well, okay. Yeah.
I said, so how dressy, like, glam? She goes, yeah. She goes, glam it up, like, really glam. Okay, so you don't tell a New York City high fashion model really glam. I was like, great, Met Gala, the Oscars, movie premieres, red carpet interviews. I was like, I got this.
I mean, so here's the thing. You have to understand, like, we just have very different definitions of glam. Well, because I'm a Southern California girl now, you know, and glam for us is beach glam.
Yeah, so I was like getting things with trains.
You should have seen some of these dresses.
It was like black fitted gown with the train and like the whole cape.
Super
I was like,
architectural.
here I
Oh
come.
my gosh. I mean, they were gorgeous, but
Yeah.
no.
So I ended up going in a bit of, she went out of town. Mm-hmm. And I was watching the kids, and I went in a bit of a panic because I was like, oh my gosh, what if this is, like, what if I'm getting proposed to? Like, this never happened to me. I mean, I guess it's happened to me before. But
Hundreds of times.
Not hundreds of times. But
I win.
I hadn't said yes. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a big deal, like, getting engaged. And so I started freaking out. I mean, like, in a panic. So I went to our mutual friend, one of Heidi's best friends, Amy, and I was like, it's not happening. Don't worry. Like, we're not getting engaged. It's not happening this quick. But Heidi and I have been talking, and Amy was like, wow, I didn't know you two were, like, at that point.
Okay, but keep in mind, Amy, during that conversation, had the whole ring in her safe in her house.
She played off so well, and Jody told me later he was like
Her husband.
choking,
Yeah.
like choking on his own tongue because he was so nervous about us having this conversation because he was right there. But Amy was like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys were, you know, at that point." So he
She's
played
such
off
a
of
great
her,
job, yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, making an honest woman, yep, yeah." And then Amy was like, "Well, how does that work? Like with two girls, like." Do you propose? Does she propose? Do you both propose? Like, I don't know. Just totally played off, even though she knew Heidi was proposing. I'm like, oh, Heidi wants to propose first because she's already been married, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, oh, okay. And she goes, well, what kind of ring do you want? And so here she has it in her safe. So I pulled out and showed her the ring. And it was very hard to look down and see, like,
Exactly.
oh, wow, that's exactly what's in my
Well-
safe, but better.
Because Amy had... You mean yours is better.
Because mine's custom designed. And
Yeah.
I had no idea she was going to custom design it. And I just had, like, a stock picture.
And Amy was a part of each step of that design. I mean, I would run over to her house all the time and be like, okay, what do you think of this? And what about this?
Yeah,
this
I just thought,
ring?
like, Amy, it would be constantly things like, well, Amy, you know, she's just feeling a little nervous about her decorations for Tyler's party, so she needs me to come and maybe just reassure her. I mean, she's really good at this, but, okay, Amy is, like, an interior decorator.
I know,
good.
she's amazing.
She's, like,
I'm such
so
a
I remember
bad
being
liar.
like, but I went for it, but I just remember thinking, wow, Amy has such talent, yet so insecure about it.
Which she's not at all. Or she and I would discuss together, like, okay, just say that we're going to discuss the book fair at school. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And so-
I'd be like, well, I'm going over to Amy's because we're talking about the book fair. And I always talk at Mach 10 speed when I'm, like, trying to,
She
like...
does it. She thinks in her head she does, but I would have caught on to that. But then she would come back and she'd be like, I'd be like, how are the decorations? She'd be like, oh, they're gorgeous. She goes, I just think she just needs that last piece of reassurance since she's so good. She just needs an eye on it to be like, that's great. And I was like, oh, good. Well, I'm glad she has you.
Oh, man. Anyway.
I was like, she certainly never wants to know my opinion on her decorations. First, I thought we were friends. It was only Heidi's. But so, yeah. So she's like, oh, let me see what ring you want. And so then she literally said, she goes, Dean, like, you know, I'm married and I have a ring. She's like, if this is the ring you want, I don't think she's going to be able to propose by November 13th.
a month from now, I mean...
She's
that's
like,
expensive.
It's really, like, don't, I mean, I know she's a lawyer, but she's like, don't you think she has to save up for this? And I was like, oh, you're right. I was like, oh, man. I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. That's great. And she goes, Dean, you're shaking. Like, you're physically shaking. I'm like, well, it's a big deal. And so I said, well, let me show you the dress. 'Cause I need a dress just in case, right? Or even if it's just for the anniversary, I should have a dress. She goes, okay. So I showed her the dress. I thought she was going to choke. She literally looked at my Met Gala dress and she was like, I just don't, you know, I mean, you might want to talk to Heidi. Like, I just don't know where you could wear that here. And I said, well, it's probably not here. She's like, okay, well, I mean, maybe New York, but I just, you know.
And so she's texting me,
yeah,
like,
she's like, just ask
desperately.
Heidi. I mean, are you sure you want black? I mean, is that the style you want? Like, you know, what if it was, you know, and so she knows, because she is literally the person planning our proposal and like is the
She
reason.
was like my right hand.
Well, she's the reason that you picked the place.
Absolutely.
She's been to the place. She's like, it was all them. She already knew where it was. And so, of course, she's like, don't wear it there, don't wear it there. And so, yeah, so she ended up texting Heidi and she's like, you need to talk to Jean about this dress. Like, don't let her wear this, don't let her buy this dress. So Heidi ends up texting me and goes, oh, I was kind of thinking about this look for our anniversary, because I sent the dress because Amy was like, send her the dress. So I did, and I said, too much, ? And she wrote back, little bit. She was, I was more thinking this, and she sends me like a maxi dress.
It was pretty, but it's like a beach wedding, what you'd wear to somebody else's no, stop it.
Or like a grocery store.
No, it's not a grocery
like
store.
Like you want to go shopping.
This is dumb.
I look cute.
I would wear that to somebody else's beach wedding.
Okay. And that
would look very appropriate in California.
And so I was like, okay, I think all I wrote back is we have different definitions of glam.
Yes.
And so.
And I wrote back beach glam.
Yeah, so then we started looking at dresses together, and we did decide, we got 2 dresses, but we did decide that I did want to be more dressy than just that.
Yeah.
But not go to like Met Gala level. And so we ended up, I said, I don't mind if I walk in the place, in the room, and everyone's like, damn, what are you here for? Like, that's okay. But I don't want it to be like,
In fact, the word she used for me is, I don't care if I'm the best dressed in the room. Like, that does not... And I was like, great, well...
But I don't need it to be like, like all somewhere in a meat dress or like totally out there. Like, just...
Yeah, please don't ever wear a meat dress.
But I'm just saying, I don't need to like, like, love that Lady Gaga was like the most... looked out in the room, but I didn't need it to be structural. Dear God, that word. Structural. Or anything like that. So then I was like, okay, we can tame this down. But...
And she ended up finding just this absolutely stunning dress, which
I'm sure, all the pictures.
You'll go, you'll see it or see the pictures.
Of them.
But, she was choosing between that and another really stunning dress. And I remember saying, like, I want you just to feel like it's your night. Like, you are a
queen of the night. What would you choose? And so...
She ended up choosing that one.
Yeah, so I chose it with, like, it's probably not... So then I called my best friend, one of my best friends. I have, like, the best friends in the world. And all of them were very involved in this, but I, of course... wanted that, but I didn't know, so I called one of them and I just said, I need you to lie to me. I said, I need to talk to someone and I just need you to lie if you have to. And so, I called Mitzi. I don't think I reached LB, and I was calling like both of them like in a panic, and I reached Mitzi and I was like, okay, I don't think it's happening, but it's probably just an engagement. We're going on this trip, and there's just been a few things that have popped up. Like one, like we have the kids that week, and why on our anniversary trip would it not be the week that they're at visitation? But maybe they're going on their own things because I think someone's watching us. Maybe they're going to their grandparents. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to ask questions. I don't want any surprises ruined, but she wants to plan this surprise, and I just want to let her do it. I said, but I'm just starting to freak out because what if it is a proposal? Like, I'm starting to panic. And so she said, you think she's proposing to you in a few weeks? And I was like, well, I don't know. And she said, well, wouldn't I know about this, Dean? Like, I know I've only got to hang out with Heidi, for like a weekend and then moved away, so we haven't got as close, but don't you think she would at least involve me or tell me if she's going to propose to you? And I'm like, oh, I'm sure you would know. And she's like, well, maybe... She goes, oh my gosh, maybe you think I would know, right? Like, I don't know anything. So you're getting engaged and I don't know about it. And she all of a sudden started getting really hurt. And I was like, no. So I'm like calming her down. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's obviously not happening since you don't know anything. Trust me. We have to save forever. It's probably going to be years. I was wrong. It's just an overnight. And so, yeah, she lied so well. Heidi ended up calling her secretly and thanking her.
Yeah, she did a great job.
And I got off the phone.
Because, of course, she knew everything. She knew when it was happening. Yeah. She knew all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I then got off the phone and, Heidi came back from her trip and I was acting really weird.
I mean, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
I was like, something's wrong. What's going on?
She kept asking me and I kept trying to play it off.
Are you okay? Like, what's happening? Are you in your head? Like,
yeah.
And so finally she breaks, because I really, like, I'm one of those people that, like, energy in the room, that's a thing for me. And
she wouldn't let it go.
I was like, something is not right. And so I was like, babe, seriously, what is happening? She was like...
I finally was like, okay, listen, I know it's not happening now, so I'll just tell you. I thought you were going to propose on this anniversary weekend, and I was a little freaked out, but now I know you're not. And it's just, a fun anniversary weekend, and I don't have to look around every corner.
And I was like, look around corners. She said, yeah, you know, for a photographer to jump out or for this to happen. And I was like, yeah, my gosh.
Yeah,
like,
so then Heidi told me, she was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so worried now, like, you're going to be so disappointed. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be disappointed. She's like, I just want to plan a special weekend for you. Now you built it all this. She goes, I'm really worried you're going to be disappointed now. She goes, I was so excited. Now you're going to, like, be disappointed in our weekend. I just want you to have a good time and feel special. I'm like, no, it's going to be great. I won't be disappointed. It's so great you're doing this.
everybody in your life, like, flips it on you and makes you take care of them in order to not.
I was like, no, don't worry. I won't be disappointed.
Yeah. So, and of course inside I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, don't blow it.
So then she really played the card of, I mean, we can't afford,
Well, like you know our budget, you know where we
saving
are.
up,
I'm
like,
saving.
you know what kind of ring you want. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were on this fast of a timeline. I thought, because you've been pretty low key about it, I thought I had, like, time, and I'll really start to try to budget for this, but I really didn't know that you were wanting this fast. Like, what is your, just made me start discussing my timeline.
So as she starts
like, let's
discussing
start
it,
looking at, you know, rings more. She goes, I'll start, you know, let's saving. But she's like, now I'm sweating. And I'm like, no, we have to, it's fine.
but somewhere in this conversation, she decides, yeah, the ring's too expensive.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're not getting married for like 10 years. I was like, so let's just switch it up. I'll just get like a moissanite. I was like, let's just look at moissanite.
So she says this, and of course, in my mind, I'm like, you have to go with this or she's going to know. So I'm like, yeah, let's go look at them. So we went to like 3 different stores and looked at moissanites.
Yeah.
We talked about just getting a solitaire. We talked about different
we
bands.
tried on all these different moissanites, which moissanites are stunning. And yeah, I mean, it's like going to save you thousands. But I ultimately was like, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. And
She
so
really wanted diamonds.
I'm like, back to diamonds.
Thank God,
back to
because-
the real diamonds. And so then I was
like,
like, okay, so let's just do a solitaire, and I'll just go small. Let me change the band to just a simple band, and let's take the diamonds away, and I'm sure I'll get used to it, or we can save up by the wedding or our next anniversary. And I mean, I was so disappointed when I was trying anything, so I was like, I'm preventing.
well, because I think she kind of had identified really out loud for the first time, like, yeah, I would like this to happen soon. And we'd not really talked like that before. It was kind of like, this is going to happen.
So I'm like, oh, I'm holding this back. And so,
Yeah.
so we tried on all these rings, and
The last store that we went to was literally 4 days before the engagement. And we're leaving the store, and she's like, okay, I've decided I want a solitaire, and I'm going to, you know, and I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Like, that's much better, much easier. All the while thinking, like, no, she doesn't. She really wants this 3. She's so disappointed. And she thinks she's got a good poker face. It's not true. Yeah, so then the day arrives, the night before arrives, and no one knows anything. So I had the whole family come out to the kitchen, and I gave them all a 3x5 card that had a packing list. On the front,
we're all sitting at the table, and the kids keep staring at me like, Dean, what's going on? And I'm like, guys, I actually don't know. Like, yes, you know. I'm like, I have no idea. And I got my own packing card. Like, we all 4 got one.
And it just had a list of things that they needed to pack. And so the kids all brought, I was packing them. So they all brought me everything that was on their list. And Dean was in our room packing her bag. And that was it. I was like, I will answer no questions. I said, if you have questions about if this is an appropriate choice for what's on your list, that's fine. Everything else I'm not going to answer. And they did great, actually.
They did.
I was kind of surprised. Like, nobody, Dean, nobody asked questions. They were like, once in a while I'd get like is this an okay, like, pants or what, and something like that. But that was it.
Yeah, which is a big deal, because before we're surprised as they would.
Oh, they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, at all.
So the next morning, they're all packed. Everybody's packed. I've actually brought everything over to Amy and Jody because they live just down the street, and they were going to pick the kids up from school that day, and nobody knew anything that like this was going
So they
on.
had a half day of school.
Yeah.
Going to be with Owen's best friend. And
So usually they walk with their friends to school, but that day I walked them to school so that I could tell them what was happening. So you're sitting on so I got them to like halfway to school, and I said, okay, guys, you're going to get picked up today with your friend about noon, and you're all gonna go to San Diego together. And they're like excited.
yeah, they're going to move down because I have a beach weekend, and they can only have half day of school, and they get to go to school, and they're in the same class, the friend and our kids.
Amy's son, yeah.
Yeah, and so they were going to get a talk at school about it, and then leave together and go on this big weekend, and they didn't know, and they've all packed, and they're all excited, and they couldn't wait to get to school to talk to him about it.
Yeah, and then I said, and that you won't see me and Dean until about 7:00 tonight. And I said, and when we show up, I'm gonna ask Dean to marry me. And they were happy tears, just so excited. I can't believe it. She's gonna be in our family forever.
She's gonna be
She's
our mom.
Like, so excited. And then, of course, asking all these questions, and I had things I wanted, like certain things I wanted them to wear that was in their suitcase, blah, blah. So we just kind of talked the rest of the way to school, and they were so excited, and they gave me big hugs, and said, okay, see you tonight, excited. And so then I came back home, and
They said that was their favorite day at school because they got to then
Yeah.
go tell their teacher and their friends and talk to each other about it. And then they got to ride in the car and see the ring and all talk to Amy and Jody and then be a part of this big surprise that they were in on. And
yeah. And it was not hard for them because they weren't going to see Dean again. So it wasn't like they had to keep anything secret.
Yeah.
So I got back home, and she was getting ready and packing, or finishing packing, and we were going to get on the road. But we had someone that had asked if they could stay
so I had a couple of friends coming to stay.
that weekend.
And so we had cleaned the house, but then now we had all this mass packing happening. And so I was like, we got to get everything reorganized and reclean, like perfect, company perfect. And so we're cleaning, and of course Heidi's like, it's time to go, and the house is already clean. But I'm like, no, we gotta do this special thing for them and put this bedding. I mean, I was just like, wanted to go overboard, and so she's like, shaking because we're gonna be late.
Well, and she didn't know, but they were going to come. They were going to meet us in
So
San
she knew
Diego.
this was silly because she
they
had
weren't gonna
already
be
she had
here.
already called and
Invited them.
one of them ended up having to delay and couldn't come until here.
Yeah.
But one of my friends got to come to the engagement, and he was doing laundry, and she shocked him with the news, and then said, "Come here instead." So he was actually coming to run errands for her and meet us there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I of course had no idea.
Right. So we finally get on the road, and we're driving down to San Diego. She has no idea where we're going, and she's not asking because, like she said, she doesn't want to ruin.
I'm super bad with directions, so like
thinks
I don't
we're on
really
our way to
understand.
Arizona.
Like I'm like in my head, I'm like I don't even know if this is the way to Arizona, so it could be Arizona or it could be. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And on the way, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot your anniversary present.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm calling Amy or texting her, like,
But I don't know. You text Amy to ask her to get it.
because, well, you didn't know Amy was going to show up.
Right. That would
So,
spoil a lot.
So I said, you got to bring the anniversary present, whatever. And so we get there, and I'd planned a spa day.
There's a hot tub overlooking the ocean.
It was amazing.
No big deal,
yeah. And then we both got a blowout,
And I didn't know the person had been brought in just specifically to do my hair. Like she doesn't work there. And she was brought in but I thought it was set up so well that I thought there was like other clients and this was just my time slot and someone was coming after and someone else was getting another treatment. And so when she asked me questions, why am I there? And I'm like, I don't know. Like my kids were given a packing list and they're nowhere to be found. And she's like, are you staying here at this resort? And I said, I don't know. She's like, well, was it a dressy thing? Like she was asking me all the questions, even though she knew what was happening. I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, I brought a dress. She's like, well, live it up, have fun. She goes, I'll make sure if you are staying here, you get spa services, which we weren't staying there, but I didn't know. And so, everyone was in on it, but I did not know. And so everyone the two hotels are not sister hotels, but they were so happy to be involved. They would call each other like, she's coming in, she's 15 minutes behind, she's doing this. And they were all, she forgot her flowers, da-da-da, they're driving. And they would just call each other. And so when I walked in, like all the people at the spa, I had no idea they all knew what I was coming in for. And, and everyone's like coming up to me constantly. And it was really fun. And my dress was fabulous.
Yeah.
And people that didn't know what was going on were stopping me everywhere to talk about my dress. Yeah. Like, no matter where I went, and I would give them all the same speech. They'd be like, you look amazing. Like, that dress is beautiful. I'd be like, thank you. I don't know why I'm here. And they would go, oh. And I go, I don't know what's happening tonight. There's something happening. They'd be like, well, enjoy it, girl. And then I would go to the next person. I'd be like, I don't know what's going on, but I have to wear this dress. And they're like, okay. I said to have a dress.
So, of course, this dress is just growing in importance every minute, right? And my whole point of the day was for her to feel like, oh, the day's done. This was our anniversary. How great. And no ring.
Yeah, so we did the hot tub. We did the hair thing. We did the spa. Then she was supposed to be in the hot tub, and she was missing. And I called and said she was coming back running errands. So I started to go, wait, am I wrong? Is something else happening? But then there was flowers on the table, and she said, well,
I didn't want you.
Yeah, I didn't want you to not have an anniversary gift since I forgot yours. So I was like, oh, she was just running off to get last minute flowers when she was missing.
Right.
And then we had dinner, and she told me we were going to a dessert place.
So this one, orders dessert. I mean, any special dinner that we have, she orders dessert, right? So I knew it was going to be a drink, a dessert. We're going to linger, but we had this.
This was supposed to be our anniversary.
Yeah,
dinner.
this was the event in her mind. This was the event. It was not, and of course I can't breathe yet because we're not at the event. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't have dessert here. I have reservations for a dessert place. It's all I could come up with. And she's like,
because they had like a flambe Nutella or something. I was like, are you sure?
She's like, so she looks at me and she does great. She's like, okay, got it. But
I ordered,
inside
the
she's
most
like,
expensive thing on the menu because I was like, well, this is it, so I might as well have something. So I
go big because here's my
so I got
whole
swordfish.
anniversary.
FYI, I guess I don't like swordfish, so that didn't work out so well.
Yeah. So anyway, we kind of finished it. I was fast. I mean, it was a fast meal. We were cruising through. I was like handing my credit card to them before Dean was even finished eating, and so then.
And then we took some pictures, and then I was like, in my head thinking, I don't even know why I'm taking pictures because I can't post any of these. Because I decided while I was sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh, dinner's over, and then we have our hotel, and this was it. And I was like, I know I wore this dress in case I get proposed to, but this is the dress. I'm now realizing that this is the dress I have to wear when I get proposed to. This dress deserves a ring. It was made for a ring. I pictured it with a ring. Now it's not going to have a ring. I can't let anyone see this dress because I'm going to have to wear it like every weekend in case she's going to propose so that I'm wearing it when she proposes. So this has to be the dress. Like I'm going to panic about this dress. Decided that it was. There is no other dress. I've shopped for a week and I know this is the dress. There can be no other dress.
And so, of course, in her mind, oh, it's over. And now we're going to just have to put this dress on every weekend and not post pictures until it happens.
Yeah.
So we start driving to our hotel.
And I was also encouraging myself, like, you just need to be grateful that you have a girlfriend that wants to plan this big surprise
she was
for
great
you.
to me.
Like, stop, like, wishing that it was more. Like, it's great that it's this. And then you'll also, like, I don't know if she's going to fall out of the sky when it's your proposal. This is your proposal, but it's fine.
No, she was great to me. Like, you did handle it very well, actually. Like, I never felt like she was not having a good time or not, but all in her head, I'm finding out later.
Yeah.
So we finally are on our way, and I'm feeling like, okay, I can breathe. It's all, I can't do anything now. It's just going to happen, right? And I know the ring is where it needs to be.
And the surprise has made it, and she's surprised. And...
Yeah, so all this has happened. And so we're driving, and all of a sudden her phone goes off.
But it's Facebook Messenger. You know that annoying call sound?
Sounds like an alarm or
that
something.
That Facebook Messenger does. Mm-hmm. Like, every time you hear it, you start hating the person calling you just because of the noise. Yeah, that went on. So I went to silence it. And it was my brother who doesn't call me on Facebook Messenger. And so I thought that was odd, but I just thought, oh, it's a mistake, whatever. He bumped it. So then I stopped it, and he called again and again and again.
So you have to understand,
5 times.
The night before... the engagement, she says to me, she goes, and I think because it was kind of in her head that this might be, maybe isn't, whatever, she's like, I'm going to give you a list of people that should know about the engagement before the engagement, just for whenever you're planning it.
Yeah, and I thought, I did it in, like, I don't want to regret not giving it to her in case, but luckily it's not tomorrow, so she won't have to be stressed because she has time,
right.
So I'll give it to her just in case, but then I don't really have to worry that it's going to, like, cause her hours of stress because it's not tomorrow. It was like kind of that kind
but
of
because
thought.
It was tomorrow, I said, oh, okay, great.
That's lots of stress.
And I didn't say anything until after the packing list, and then I said, babe, I have a work project. Why don't you just finish packing and I'll go handle my work project.
She stays up late doing...
Oh, I'm constantly working at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's just what happens.
Lawyer stuff, so.
Blah. So, instead, what I'm doing is frantically Facebook messaging and texting and telling everybody, like, okay, so it's going to be on Facebook Live. It's also going to be in a Google Meet. Here's the link. Here's this, da. So, honestly, bless him. He was so excited, wanted to be a part of it so badly. He and his girlfriend were planning to watch the proposal, and he cannot get onto the Google Meet. So, he's panicked.
Yeah,
and that's why
I don't think he was realizing it was also on Facebook Live because he probably doesn't see Facebook Live. And so he was trying to do Google Meet because that was where the family was sent. And so he's trying to text Heidi and call Heidi, but she's driving, so she's not responding. So then I still play in my head, like, what would have happened if I would have answered the phone?
Well, he called 5 times.
Like, what would he have said, like, congratulations, I can't watch, or, like, would he just say, I'm having trouble getting into your proposal, I can't get in? Like, would he say that to the person he proposed to?
so anyway.
Or would he be like... Congrats! Did I miss your proposal? Or
any of which would have been awful at the moment.
Yeah. Or was he gonna just play it off? Like, I really don't know how that conversation was gonna go. But the 5 times of calls definitely made me finally go, wait a minute. maybe, because at that point I was like, this night is done. We're just going to dessert. Like, the engagement's over. You know.
Like, it's not going to be an engagement.
Yeah, so it's like an engagement. It's just an anniversary. We're having a great time. And so all of a sudden I was like, wait, was I wrong? And so I just turned to Heidi and I said, should I not be answering this? And she goes, you should not.
Right.
Got it.
So she does not. And so we get out of the car and I'm frantically texting him, like, it's on her Facebook page. Like, you can find, like, we're almost there. It's on her Facebook page. And then I walk her. I had never been to this resort before. Amy had set the whole thing up, and she had
You'd
told
been there quickly that day, but not
just to drop off our luggage, whatever. Yeah. And so they had said, you just go through there and then find the sand. And I was like, awesome, go through here and find the sand. So we get out. She's in 7-inch stilettos. I'm in like 4-inch stilettos. Heels. And I'm like, just find the sand, just find the sand.
So she takes me into this restaurant.
Because I don't know where I'm going. And so I go through this.
And it's really like dark and there's only a couple of people eating.
It had already closed,
which
but they were just finishing up.
People are allowed to still eat. So I think they're just don't have very many patrons. And so it's like kind of sad at this point. And I remember thinking like, now I'm wondering, is it or isn't it? Like, now I'm like, wait, was I wrong?
But this is fresh off the phone call.
I'm like, surely this isn't where I would get proposed to. Like, she's just going to drop on her knee and, like, there's going to be a server that's going to walk up and hold the cell phone? Like, what's happening here? And so then we walk outside, and instantly I forget everything because I look over and I see it looks like this amazing restaurant on the beach. Like, it's tiki's all lit up and it's long and big and there's people sitting and standing like as if servers and people eating. There's
two big bonfires.
There's a lit path to it. Like, it looks like this really, really quaint, cute restaurant on the beach. And we're from a distance, you know. So I start hitting her. I'm like, babe, that's so cute. It's so cute. Isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? And I mean, and all I could think in my head was, oh my gosh, I might get s'mores. Like, that's literally all that was going through my mind. Like, I think I might get s'mores.
So she has completely forgotten the engagement altogether because all she wants is s'mores, which is fantastic. So I was like, I know, it's adorable. It's so great. And then we had gotten these paper lanterns to kind of light the path. And so I see them and I'm like, oh, good, this is us. And so I said, we have to walk over here. She's like, you want me to?
Yeah, I was like, you want me to walk in the stand in 7-inch stilettos? And she goes, I do. I go, okay.
So we start walking down the path. And
then instantly, all of a sudden, like photographer and videographer, like I see flashes of light and, you know, camera flashes. And of course, I'm like, ooh, it's runway. Like, I know this deal. And so then, of course, I'm starting to like pause, like wait, and then I hear someone whistle. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I start looking around and I instantly... So when I was so surprised because there was 21 people there. People had flown in. I never would have imagined, had no idea. So when I hear a whistle and I start walking up and I start kind of, you'll see on the video, I just start slowing down and start barely moving and looking around, and all of a sudden I recognize, and you know, first I see Aki from New York, and then I see Joe, and then I'm like, oh shit, it's going down. And so at that point,
all these people have flown in, driven down. I mean, none of these people belong in San Diego, so
so my heart starts beating fast. I start like, I thought I was gonna hyperventilate because it was like so amazing and overwhelming, because there were friends that had met us the day we met when we were, you know, kids, and they had never seen each other since that day.
It was a big reunion.
So literally they saw us when we met, and the next time they see each other is at our engagement. And so like just to see that, and a dog that I had helped raise for a while was there, and I mean, we had Nashville, we had Phoenix, we had Las Vegas,
Miami,
Tucson, Miami,
New York,
New York City,
Northern California,
LA. I mean, like, it was insane. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
And so I then she walks me, there's these huge letters, all this you'll see on the video, but there's these huge letters that say L and H.
And actually, Amy's husband Jody made those for us.
And they are stunning.
They're now in our house, which we love them,
These giant lit up letters on the beach that say L and H, and it's right at the water. And I go up to that, and she walks me over there, and she's never seen me,
I've never in my life entire have I seen this girl speechless, and I did it.
Yeah, I was speechless. She's like, do you need to take a moment? And I'm like, yes. I'm like shaking. And so we walk up, And there's like this pretty stool because she was like, I'm not going to kneel in the sand, so she's going to kneel in the
Well, I'm
stool.
already short, and I'm like, this one's in 7-inch heels. I'm not kneeling. I'll be out of all the pictures. I'll just be like
I'll
below
have to, like,
where.
fall down on the ground to say yes. And so we go over there, and she's like, do you want to take a moment? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you want to say hi to some people? And that's when I really got to look around and actually see who was there. And that's the moment I realized our kids were there, which I got so emotional and excited about. And I was like, our kids are here. Like, I was so excited. And Joe I kept going. I see someone, I go, what? And then I go, no, what? And like, there's a picture where my hands are just thrown in the air, and I'm just like, what? Because I just cannot believe it. I'm like, you guys had to have plane tickets. Like, how did this happen? And one of my friends, Joe, she shouts out, we're all here, girl. We're all here. And then I hear Owen go, we're all here. And it was just really cute. And so just to see all the groups of people.
Yeah.
And so I was very emotional. And then, of course, Heidi, the moment comes, starts launching into her speech and her, proposal. And of course, I know that's what we're here for. That's what's about to happen. Of course, I know I'm supposed to be paying attention at this moment. It's a very important moment of my life, but I cannot pay attention. You'll see on the video, I'm just so distracted. I'm looking down, I'm looking around, I'm like fidgety. And here she's like starting to like propose. And I finally just go, I think we need to switch places. Like, right, I just interrupt her. I'm like, I think we need to switch places. And she's like, you want to switch places? I'm like, yeah. And I just grab the stool, pick it up, and just walk around her and like turn her.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, y'all, we're switching it up.
Yeah, I just like, y'all, we're switching it up. And everyone just starts laughing because they're like, that's so Dean.
Yes.
And so I turn, the stool, and I turn her, and I get everything. And I'm like, well, the cameras are like, they were behind us, like, to me it was like the set. And so got the setting all correct, and and so her proposal literally starts with the words, y'all set? Yep. She's like, okay. And so then she launches in, she starts getting emotional, crying, so I grab her hands.
Yeah, this was the one thing that kind of caught me off guard, because of course I knew everything that was happening all day, but I did not anticipate someone who would participate in their proposal. So like, I start speaking and she's answering me like, I'm gonna love you forever. I'm gonna love you forever too. Oh, okay, great. That's good. And then, like, I'd say something else and she would answer back, and I
even
was
when
like,
before she even asked, when she said, well, and then she's referenced our kids and how it was marrying you and them, and I hear the kids like, hi, and I like wave at all of them and blow them all a kiss, and they say hi, and then she said, and I just want to know, will you marry me? And she's, going down to open the ring box, and I said, 1,000 million, holy shit! Like, I didn't even finish my sentence, because as I'm saying it, I look down and see the ring, and I just cursed in front of God and everyone. and all the cameras. And then the children were like, you didn't even say yes, but I did. It was right after that you heard on camera. Then I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And they're like, oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just seeing the ring, because one, she custom designed it, which I didn't. So I have the mold in our safe of that. It's this green plastic mold that comes from when she designed the ring. And she made it so no one else has the exact ring that I have. And then tell them about you can talk through the... Yeah,
so like
you
I
can
said...
go and see the video to see the ring, but for those that are on video right now, I will show it to you.
Yeah, so I had found the center stone, and I knew she wanted 3 stones, and so I was working with a jeweler who had come to me highly recommended by my business partner, and he was just a godsend. I mean, there was so much divine in all of this, and so I sat down with him and I said, look, I have a really specific vision, but this is my budget. And he was like, okay, we can do it. And so he actually did the rest of the work. He found diamonds that matched exactly, which that's not a small feat. And then I said, I want a couple of sentimental elements. And he said, okay. And so the hidden halo actually has 14 very small diamonds on both sides. So it adds up to 28, which is her favorite number. Mm-hmm. And then the channel diamonds, there's 5 on each side. So that with the top 3, it's 13 diamonds across the center, which is our anniversary.
And then she's very into like an airy basket. Because usually, if you ever see the 3-stone emeralds, it's a more heavy
Yeah, so this is actually what's called a trellis basket, and so we just did kind of a modified trellis.
And I have all the screenshots of her marking up, like, nope, I want it more airy, and I want this, and I need this thinner, and I want this taken out, and she was drawing all over.
Yeah, and
Which was pretty amazing.
So we worked with a person. His name is Clay, and he works at Integrity Jewelers and in OC. So if you're in the market, he's amazing. And she really wanted very thin sides on the channel.
Yeah, so almost where it's not safe, where it's just safe enough, because usually, on the channel diamonds, they have, a lot of gold on the side to hold them in, and they're set deeper, and I really wanted it to be where you see all diamond and just a little bit of white gold or platinum just, hanging on the sides to make it safe, where it's mostly diamond. And so...
Yeah, so he did that. I mean, he really just went out of his way to make it exactly perfect. And so, and because of the size of the center stone, I mean, we had a number of carats in our mind that we were looking to do, but it ended up being more than that.
Yeah, I got bigger diamond than even I had asked for, which I did not ask for small, so it was pretty exciting.
So, anyway, so it worked out. It worked out amazingly.
Amazing, yeah.
And just,
to see it, like, so perfect in the box, like, everything I imagined and more, like, is where the holy shit came out. And, of course, that was everyone's favorite moment. And that and when I...
Moved the stool,
yeah. So.
But it was just an amazing feeling to have, kind of our closest.
Yeah, and then on anyone that couldn't make it, because there was a lot of people that just timing-wise tried to get, so they were on... and a lot of family members and stuff on Google Meet and on Facebook Live, and
we had just so many people there that were loving us,
and my one of my brothers and sisters and my nieces and nephews, and I mean, it was just amazing to see all of them and just celebrate with them, and then to get to spend the entire weekend with all of our friends that had come. And we had a base suite, and we'd have all the parties there, and then we just spent the whole weekend. They all got rooms, and we just got to live it up on the beach, and oh my gosh, it was like a dream come true. So then I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, and now is this it? Like, I have to say goodbye to these people? And then I'll never forget the moment when Heidi said no, they all
have rooms here,
staying the whole weekend. Oh, I was so excited. Like, I thought that was the greatest. I mean, we barely slept that night, so
yeah, it was crazy. It was really fun.
And then they all came in and secretly decorated our room with rose petals in the bed, and an entire, pathway to the bed of roses and hearts on the bed. And I mean, we had all these things they had done, and flowers, and it was pretty...
It was magic.
Yeah.
It really was. And then
I had my Moscato everywhere, which I have to have.
Yeah, and just, being able to spend that time with our kids and with these people and have it just be this really magical. And, like, we just... The next day, because we
did a whole photo shoot too. So the kids and us and then all my friends, and we did.
You'll see some of that on the video if you watch it.
It shows the photo shoot on the video, but it's the kids looked phenomenal, and we did our Christmas pictures from it, and it was just amazing. Because I had said I want these outfits for our Christmas pictures, because of course I didn't know she had this planned, and so she's like, yeah, we'll get these outfits for Christmas pictures. But then of course she had them wear the engagement because she knew she already had photographer and videographer.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, and then of course we had s'mores. Like, we had s'mores and 2 huge bonfires and the whole beach to ourselves. And I wanted a s'more picture, but I didn't realize, because I had decided to take pictures that I didn't even keep before we left. I was like, oh, let's take pictures by the fountain. She's like, you'll have lots of time to take pictures, but I made us like 15 minutes late because I didn't realize our timeline, because Heidi's like, oh, we're early, and then it cut into it. She meant to say we're like 4 minutes early, but she's like, oh, you want to go to the restaurant early? I'm like, oh, if we're early, let's take pictures. And she just didn't say anything. She didn't want to ruin the surprise. So we took pictures, but then that made us not like late, but
just delayed us a little bit. But
yeah, but then when the photographer and videographer were leaving, because they'd done their whole amount of time that they've been paid for the hours. And then I said, can we get one more with the s'mores? And they're like, oh, sure. Well, we hadn't started making the s'mores, and it was like the slowest. I don't know why this fire and the coals were not melting our marshmallows.
Yeah.
But it took so long, and they're patiently waiting. They did this fabulous little photo shoot with the s'mores and stuff. But of course, we had to pay for it, and so I was teased because it's my $100 s'more that I had to have. But thank God it was a good picture, because I'm like, that was the most expensive s'more I've ever eaten.
Yeah. So Holly and Matt Suter, they are amazing, and they gave us a discount on that s'more. By the way, they could have charged us a lot more, but they gave us a discount. And also, it was funny because they had edited the video for us, which they sent over, and they had so understandably removed the part where Dean moved the stool.
Yeah, they cut it out so it could just be this seamless proposal without
Yeah.
this like switching up the setting. And so we had to call
We had
and
to
ask
call
them
and
to
say,
put it back. They were
actually,
like,
we love that part.
like
Can you leave it?
we understand why you're probably like, no one would want to keep in the fact that it wasn't like this smooth proposal where the setting was perfect. I said, but it actually was
One of our favorite parts.
Yeah. And my friends too, they're all like,
Which
they're
they
like,
of
of course Dean moved the stool and had to fix where the cameras are in her own proposal.
Yeah, but they were. I mean,
And they
everybody.
said, yeah, we'll put her back in.
Yeah.
They laughed and shared it on their social
Super
media.
amazing. So we just, I mean, it all came together. It was really magic.
Yeah, it was really great. And,
And
so-
she said yes.
and I
so-
said yes. So we're engaged, y'all.
yeah. So that's the story.
Yeah. And
So
then,
go watch the video. You'll have fun. It's not a super long commitment, and it's really
No,
it's
they did
cute.
a really great job of shortening it down, and it's cute.
Yeah.
And now that you've heard all the back behind the scenes part, it makes it even more fun to watch. People have said because then
Yeah.
So now it's time for wedding planning. So wish us luck.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.